2 stories about adultery and the punishment for it. Karma in action. The first story. It's difficult for me to come to terms with what I saw in my hands. The pictures of my wife with my stepbrother's hand on her hips while they shared a passionate kiss left me in disbelief. Although I was aware of my wife's infidelity, the fact that she was engaged in an affair with my stepbrother was beyond my imagination. Discovering that your significant other is unfaithful can be an extremely distressing and overwhelming ordeal. Discovering that your significant other is having an affair with your own sibling is indescribable. I am Luke, and I am currently 27 years old. A couple of years ago, I had the privilege of marrying the love of my life, Ellen, who was 25 at the time. Ellen was a budding model, striving to establish herself in the cutthroat realm of fashion and modeling. Little did we know that our lives were about to take an unforeseen turn. By putting my name on everything related to her, she eventually caught the eye of some influential individuals in the industry. Gradually, she started getting more modeling assignments, striding down the runway for renowned designers, and featuring in various fashion ads. Fast forward to today, and Ellen's career has skyrocketed beyond her wildest dreams. She has emerged as the face of numerous successful brands. Early on in our marriage, Ellen became occupied with her work commitments, and I presumed that her busy schedule continued throughout the past 2 years. But a week ago, I was caught off guard when my driver handed me my stepbrother's wallet and revealed that he found it at the car wash. Upon returning home, I asked Ellen about the car wash incident, to which she vehemently denied ever giving our car to be washed. One thing still nags at me: my brother's wallet remaining in Ellen's car, even though he is out of the country. To investigate, I phoned the car wash establishment under a pseudonym, posing as Ellen's new assistant, and inquired about her car wash schedule. I made up a story about having insurance issues and needed to know certain details. During the conversation, I discovered that Ellen's car was washed every 3 or 4 days, due to the sand from the ocean. 2 days after my stepbrother seemingly returned from his European trip, he disclosed that he had lost his wallet during the trip. I inquired how he managed to survive without his wallet, identification, and why he didn't call anyone at home for aid. He cleared his throat and admitted that he lost his wallet on the way back home after his flight. The conversation escalated, and with each passing moment, my anger grew. How could you lose your wallet on the way back home when it was in my office? The next day, I contacted a friend of mine who has connections with a private investigator and urged him to hire the detective to spy on my wife. I emphasized the importance of keeping our identities confidential. Now, 4 days later, I sit in my office holding humiliating photographs of my wife and stepbrother. In addition to discovering that my brother had purchased a property situated far away from here, near the sea, where he and my wife would sneak off to engage in sinful acts behind my back. The 2 individuals who mattered most to me had betrayed me, and I had no clue how long it had been going on. I felt shattered and powerless. I confronted them separately and asked if there was anything they needed to discuss with me. I provided them with the chance to confront each other, but they both stared directly into my eyes and claimed that they had nothing of substance to disclose. After conversing with them, my mind began devising a plan to eliminate them, but it had to be a 2-in-1 solution. It was time to deceive them in the same manner they had been deceiving me behind my back. It was time for them to experience their own medicine. While dining, I surprised my stepbrother by declaring that I would organize his birthday celebration this year. He was surprised and asked why I would take on such a responsibility. I forced a smile and explained that he is my only brother and I want to express my love for him. He emphasized the importance of having top-notch alcohol and an abundance of women at his party, to which I promised to throw him an unforgettable event. I now have a week to follow through with my commitment. I have instructed my private investigators to halt their monitoring and plan to handle the matter independently. Before publicly humiliating them, I required concrete evidence that was indisputable. As soon as I break off my relationship with my wife, I will take measures to make it difficult for her to find a job in the future. As for my stepbrother, I have a more captivating plan in mind for him than Ellen. Finally, the moment I had been eagerly awaiting has arrived. During the ongoing celebration, I approached Mick and declared, "This is for you, my brother," before directing the cake to be delivered to his location. Ellen and he were surprised upon seeing the cake, which was crafted to resemble their covert abode situated near the waterfront. Ellen rushed towards me and asked for a private conversation. I reminded her that I had previously granted her the chance to confess, but she had forfeited that opportunity. Now, it was time for her to confront the repercussions of her deeds in front of the entire world. I gave her a gift box that was meant for my brother and instructed her to deliver it to him on my behalf. After she had given him the gift, they both sensed that I had something planned, but were uncertain of my approach. I urged my brother to open the gift, and upon doing so, he discovered that it was his wallet. At that moment, I disclosed to everyone that it was the same wallet he had misplaced on his return trip from Europe to the United States. It was indeed a miracle that I stumbled upon my brother's wallet in my wife's car while he was vacationing in Europe. He was taken aback by the news of its recovery. After that, I asked for a second cake, which I ordered in advance. I instructed the bakers to replicate the exact same image of my brother, with his hand on Ellen's A that was on the top of the second cake. The guests began to whisper and talk about what they had just witnessed. When my brother asked me to stop, I replied with a promise of one final surprise for him. Without ceremony, I showed photos of my wife and stepbrother to the whole world, showed their betrayal to all the guests. As the lights went out in the hall, the projector flickered to life, revealing the private photographs to everyone present. The shock on their faces was palpable as they covered their eyes in disbelief. After that, I went up to Ellen and told her, "I forbid you from returning to my residence, and I will take measures to halt your career entirely." Following that, I departed while she continued to shout and destroy party decorations without my knowledge. When I returned home an hour later, my stepbrother had arrived, but I instructed my security personnel to never permit him entry into my residence. He started screaming, which made me go outside to meet him face to face. He was indignant and insisting that I couldn't kick him out that way. With my hands tucked in my trouser pockets, I made it clear to him that I had the power to do what I did, since he had already signed over all of his assets to me. He was taken aback by my statement and denied ever signing any such document. I then had to remind him that a few days ago, when he was in a hurry to have intimacy with my wife, I had asked him to sign some papers. Taking advantage of his distracted state, I made him sign a document that relinquished all of his property to me. I returned indoors as he threatened to take legal action against me. I retorted that he couldn't win a case without any funds. As Ellen yelled after me, I felt the same contentment as when my brother currently shouts. Second story. I am David, a 35-year-old man, married to my high school sweetheart, Emma, who is also 35 years old. We are proud parents of two adorable sons aged 3 and 5. Over the years, we have shared numerous memories and have a strong bond. I'm in a state of shock as I have just witnessed something unexpected. I am currently sitting in my car having followed Emma after she said goodbye to our family and headed to the gym. I was in tears, hoping that my suspicions were wrong and that she wasn't going where I thought she was. But my fears were confirmed when I saw her standing in front of her gym instructor's house. At first, I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt and assumed that her visit was innocent. Unfortunately, my hopes were shattered when I witnessed them share a passionate kiss before Emma entered his home. I took photographs of them kissing from a distance to use as evidence when I confront Emma about her betrayal. After she entered the building, I walked back to my car with unsteady steps. It was hard to accept that my wife was with another man, but seeing her intimately close to someone else was excruciating. As I sit in my car looking at the photos, my mind is overwhelmed with thoughts and emotions. I am feeling a mix of anger, pain, confusion, and betrayal all at once. I had always trusted Emma completely and never thought she would do something like this. I am left wondering how this could have happened and how long she has been unfaithful to me. What does this mean for our future together? Despite my doubts, I took a deep breath and tried to remain calm. I want to speak with Emma and find out what is really going on. Before taking any action, I realized that it was important to take some time to process my thoughts and emotions. It all began a month ago when Emma returned from her 5-day trip with her girlfriends. While she was in the shower, her phone rang. I saw that it was from one of her gym friends, the same one she had mentioned as being on the trip. I didn't answer the call, but when it ended, I saw a message pop up on her unlocked screen that took me aback. It read, "Where the hell have you been?" I couldn't decide what to do for the past 5 days, and in my state of confusion, my eyes fell on Emma's luggage. Without thinking, I unzipped it and started moving her belongings around. It was then that I discovered a stash of condoms at the bottom of her bag. The presence of the condoms made it clear that Emma was not on a trip with her girlfriends. She had been with someone who needed condoms for their private meetings. But who was that person? And where were they when she returned home? I made a desperate attempt to revive our relationship and searched for any way to make Emma happy. While we were together, she made a comment about how rough I had been that night. I responded by saying that maybe I missed her so much and then pretended to sleep for the rest of the night. Even after making love with her, I couldn't find inner peace. As a result, I decided to investigate the issue. I was clueless about how to discover the person my wife was having an affair with, her reasons for betraying our family, and why she neglected our children so much. Numerous queries inundated my thoughts. I have chosen not to react to the situation. I must delve further and uncover the truth. It's crucial that I ascertain the facts, as any erroneous assumptions could jeopardize my marriage. As a successful entrepreneur, I frequently embark on business trips that take me out of town for weeks. Infidelity has never crossed my mind, and I have always placed my utmost trust in my wife. It never occurred to me that she would betray me in such a manner. My main focus now is how to mend our broken relationship. It wouldn't be difficult for me to find a mistress. My wife is a homemaker who spends most of her time at home, with the exception of going to the gym or meeting up with old classmates from high school and college. Since we all attended the same alma maters, I assume her lover must be someone from the gym. I began monitoring her vehicle's movements, and thus far, I have only discovered her presence in 2 locations. I found out that the gym instructor, whose house is located 3 blocks away from the gym, is the person my wife is having an affair with. Through checking her phone, I discovered the intimate conversations she had saved under his name, which she never bothered to delete. She appeared confident that I would not check her phone, and I monitored it without her knowledge for a month. Surprisingly, she never noticed my surveillance. Due to my frequent cancellation of business trips over the past month, it became progressively challenging for my wife to rendezvous with her lover. It felt as though I had been living with a complete stranger, as she appeared perfectly normal. She tended to the children and casually interacted with me in an affectionate manner, all while secretly continuing her affair. My inability to discern whether or not my wife has a lover has left me feeling helpless. I never imagined she could be such a skilled actress. After monitoring their chat, I discovered that they arranged to meet at his place today. Initially, I was so naive that I contemplated seeking advice from a trusted friend or family member, or even a professional counselor or therapist while she was still attending the gym. Initially, I was willing to consider couples counseling or therapy to help us process our emotions and make sense of what had happened, with the hope of resolving the issues in our relationship and moving forward. However, when I witnessed her brazenly embracing her lover, I realized that I needed to prioritize my emotional well-being and end this sham of a family. Although it will be a difficult time for my children, I must figure out the best way to proceed. With the appropriate support and guidance, I believe my children will overcome this ordeal and emerge stronger. Upon returning home, my mind was in turmoil, and my anger was mounting after seeing the unexpected pictures. Consequently, I resolved to devise a plan to seek retribution against those responsible. To humiliate them, I meticulously monitored their activities and collected a significant amount of evidence against them. Despite my wife's deceitful actions, I do not plan to seek revenge in private. Instead, I aim to publicly dismantle her life in a manner she could never have fathomed. I awaited an opportunity to execute my plan, and it presented itself when Emma informed me of their gym's upcoming celebration for the completion of 2 years since its opening. I requested to attend the party with my wife, but she began to make excuses. Despite the deceitful actions of my wife behind my back, I do not plan to take revenge secretly. Instead, I aim to publicly dismantle her life in a manner she could never have fathomed. I awaited an opportunity to execute my plan, and it presented itself when Emma informed me of their gym's upcoming celebration for the completion of 2 years since its opening. I requested to attend the party with my wife, but she began to make excuses.